$129,000. That's what the app says Maria earned this year. Her bank account tells a very different story. On one screen, gross ride earnings. On her banking app, a smaller deposit. Somewhere between those two numbers, a big chunk disappeared. There's a line item most drivers scroll straight past. It's small, it's routine, and every single week, it quietly takes a cut. She isn't the only one confused. A late-night search turns up dozens of other Lyft drivers asking the exact same question. For every ride she gives, there's a version of the job passengers never see, hours of paperwork nobody trained her to do. Search rideshare taxes, and almost everything online is written for Uber drivers. Lyft's numbers work differently, and nobody explains it. Between drop-offs and pickups, her car logs hundreds of unpaid miles a week. On paper, that mileage is worth real money. 6 months ago, she balled up a car wash receipt and tossed it. She didn't know it could have lowered what she owed. Even off the clock, the app keeps pinging. Every notification is a small reminder that the paperwork is still waiting for her. So Maria asks the only question that actually matters. What does she legally get to keep? And what is she leaving behind? Morning again. Same coffee, same commute checklist, but today Maria decides she's finally going to understand where her money actually goes. One ride, $11 fare, but when the trip ends, the app shows Maria a smaller number, and now she knows why. Parked between rides, she zooms in on one line, Lyft service fee, 25% taken automatically before she ever sees a cent. At the grocery store, she does the math in her head. Every ride's real value is smaller than it looks on the app. Her glove box is a time capsule of gas receipts, oil change slips, and car wash tickets, shoved in with no order at all. 12 minutes with no ride request. No pay for this time, but the meter on her car's mileage keeps quietly running anyway. Her old phone mount snapped last month. She replaced it out of pocket, not realizing that receipt belonged in a very different pile. She bought the dash cam after a disputed fare complaint. It protects her, and she never once thought of it as a tax write-off. Even on a 15-minute lunch break, the math follows her. She pulls up her weekly total instead of actually resting. One chart shows her total rides climbing all year. Another shows her take-home pay barely moving. Something in between isn't adding up. The red envelope from Lyft has sat unopened for 3 weeks. Tonight, hands slightly unsteady, Maria finally tears it open. For months, not knowing has cost her more than confusion. It's cost her sleep, money, and the sense that she's in control. The 1099K reports gross earnings. Every fare, every surge bonus, every dollar passengers paid before Lyft takes anything at all. To understand it, she lays out cash on the table. One stack for gross rides, a smaller stack for what actually lands in her account. Lyft's service fee funds the platform itself, insurance coverage, app maintenance, support staff. It's real, but it's still a real cost to her. Here's what almost no one tells new drivers: that service fee Lyft takes isn't lost. It's a legitimate business expense she can deduct. But the biggest deduction isn't the fee at all. It's mileage. Every mile driven for work, even the empty ones between rides. There are miles with a passenger in the car, and miles spent driving to reach one. Both count. Most drivers only track one. Months ago, she downloaded a mileage tracker and forgot about it. Tonight, she opens it again and finds months of missing data. Car washes, phone mounts, dash cams, small purchases that add up over a year, and every one of them can lower what she owes. Her phone runs the app that runs her job, but she also uses it for everything else. Only the work use percentage counts. Her car isn't just transportation anymore. It's a business asset. Its payments, insurance, and gradual loss in value all factor into her taxes. There are two ways to calculate this: a flat rate per mile or the actual cost of everything the car needs. She has to pick one. There's another layer most drivers miss: self-employment tax. Because Lyft doesn't withhold anything, she owes both halves herself. This isn't a once-a-year problem. If she owes enough, the IRS expects estimated payments 4 times throughout the year. She tries building her own spreadsheet: one tab for income, one for expenses, one for mileage. By tab 4, she's lost track. She texts a friend who's driven for Lyft 3 years longer. Over coffee, the friend admits she didn't know half of this either. Fee, mileage, self-employment tax, quarterly deadlines. 4 separate pieces, and until now, Maria only ever saw one of them at a time. She tries a free online calculator first. It asks for total income, nothing else, and spits out a number with no explanation. She asks in a driver group chat. 5 different people give 5 different answers, and none of them agree with each other. She tries basic filing software. It asks about wages and a W-2, categories that don't match anything under 1099K at all. Forced to pick a category that doesn't quite fit, she guesses. A wrong guess here could mean an audit letter months from now. She pays for an hour with a local tax preparer. He's kind, but admits he's never actually filed for a rideshare driver before.
Exactly my specialty.
Back home, she tries the shoebox method. Every receipt in one box, sorted later. Later never quite comes the way she plans. She sends a quarterly payment based on a rough guess. 2 weeks later, a letter arrives saying she underpaid by a wide margin. An ad promises a tax app that does it all automatically. She downloads it, hopeful, but it never once asks about her mileage.
Check this out.
Her friend, the one from the cafe, admits she deducts almost everything, even personal trips. Maria realizes that's its own kind of risk. Weeks pass. The deadline gets closer. Every night she means to sit down and finish it, and every night something else comes first. Every deduction she didn't track, every quarter she guessed at, adds up to real money and real risk she never meant to take on. Enough guessing, enough shortcuts that don't fit her situation. Maria decides to find a system actually built for how Lyft drivers get paid. This time she looks for software built specifically for gig workers, something that already understands 1099Ks and mileage from the start. Instead of retyping every number, she connects her Lyft account directly. Her entire 1099K populates the form in seconds. The mileage app she almost forgot has quietly logged every trip for weeks. When she opens it now, the numbers are already there. A Lyft service fee she once ignored now sits in its own deduction field, exactly where it should have been all along. The receipts that once lived in a shoebox and a glove box are photographed, labeled, and sorted into digital folders by category. This time, the software calculates her estimated payments based on real numbers and schedules reminders before each deadline arrives. The software breaks down the self-employment tax into plain terms, showing exactly what funds it covers and why she owes it. The rising line and the flat line from her old notebook sketch finally make sense together. The gap wasn't a mystery, just missing pieces. For drivers who'd rather not
your mileage
do it alone,
deductions are
a
solid,
specialist familiar
and
with
these fees are
gig work
fully
reviews her
deductible.
return in under
This
30
looks
minutes.
good. You're all set.
From opening the app to submitting her return, the whole process takes under 2 hours, far less than the week she spent worrying. When the summary loads, total deductions claimed come to just over $4,000, money that would have gone unclaimed entirely. She
So as
calls
you
the
can
friend
see,
from the
the
cafe.
mileage here
This
directly
time,
impacts
Maria
the
is
third
the one
quarter
explaining what
allocation.
she
It's not
learned
ideal,
and
but
what
it's the
her
most
friend
logical
was missing
breakdown.
too. The next morning, Maria drives the same streets she always has. Nothing about the job changed, except how much she now understands it.
So, like
If
I
a
was
new
saying, the
driver
main
asked
thing
her
is to keep
today,
track of
she'd say
everything.
this: track
Gas,
every mile,
tolls,
save
even
every
the
receipt,
occasional
and never
coffee.
assume the
You'd
app
be
is telling
surprised
the
how
whole
much it adds up.
story. The folder that once sat open and scattered across her floor is closed now, labeled and filed neatly on a shelf above the desk. Tonight, there's no unopened envelope waiting on the desk. Just Maria, a cup of tea, and an evening that finally feels like her own. Compare the woman confused by a number on a screen in January to the one who understands every part of it now in December. The rides didn't change. The passengers didn't change. What changed was Maria finally understanding the numbers behind her own work. She's one of hundreds of thousands of Lyft drivers navigating this same gap between what the app shows and what they actually keep. Was software built specifically for gig income, mileage, and quarterly deadlines? The pieces that once felt scattered now work together. As the sun sets over the city, Maria drives one more ride, no longer wondering where the money goes, only where the road leads. For the first time all year, when Maria looks at her earnings, the number on the screen and the truth finally match.
Well, that's me.
If this
Have a
helped
good
make
one.
sense of your own numbers, tell us what surprised you most. Share it with another driver and subscribe for what's next.